So hey everyone, welcome back. This is James. Today again we're going to be working on I'm going to be explaining to you how layer styles work and through which you're going to create a simple texture design. And I'm going to be just explaining. So what layer styles are? They're just essentially effects that you can add on a layer on any active layers that can make your work faster. It can essentially help you to come up with various designs in Photoshop. So we're not going to explore everything, but we're going to be doing some of the things. So here I'm going to just first of all unlock my background here, and I'm going to fill it with the black for the foreground color black by Alt and Backspace shortcut. And once I have this, I'm going to add a new layer on top. I'm going to specify, let's say, multiply. So here what I'm going to do is I'm first going to create a like stone like texture. All right, so of course you can use this method to create various other textures, but in today's video we're going to create only one texture. So when I go to my brushes, I have a brush here which says this brush options. These are not custom brushes, so there is this rough round Bristol brush. If you don't see it in your brushes, you can go here, okay, and then you go to where it says rough round brushes, or let's say round brushes with size. Okay, heavy, thick, heavy brushes here. And once it says replace this, just click append, because if you click OK, it will remove all your brushes that you have here. So that's very important. Just click append and it will just add them into your brushes. So once you're done, you will now have a brush like this. So we've set it to multiply. We're going to quickly go into its layer styles by just double clicking somewhere on the right there, brings up the layer style. Now you realize here we have the bevel option. I'm going to switch on the bevel option and the texture option for now. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to increase the size of the brush, say like that, so that it's really high. So now you see when I click once, you see it forms that kind of thing that has light interacting with it. Okay, so when I do that, you see what's happening. So essentially I'm just filling in I'm just filling in like this. So once I do this, in just a matter of seconds, I'm done with like almost the stone wall texture. But that's not all for that's not where I'm going to stop it, because for example, if you don't want it to be too much like that, you can go into the bevel options here and we make some specifications. First of all, in the blending options, when you turn down the opacity, you can just turn down the overall opacity to maybe around there. And then in the bevel options, you have also the option of adjusting around its depth, where the bevel acts, like is it down or up. Okay, and then you have the option to soften. It's what that will do. It will spread out the designs and essentially it will make it very, very soft. But we don't want that. We want to retain the texture. And then you can also play around with the size. And then this is just going to bulge it around in the middle also like that. Okay, so here you can do whatever you want. I'm going to, for example, put it there, and again, so for example, I'm going to just leave it here on down, and then here in the opacity, options, I'm going to try and put it somewhere that I feel comfortable with. Maybe in the bevel options, let me put it up. Okay, so we now have this simple texture. All right, the next thing we're going to do is add our text layer. So just click OK. Now I'm going to bring a text layer and just type in any word, some word. All right, scale it up. I'm going to scale it up to around there. So once you have your layer here, the next layer, now we're going to go into it and also try. So what most people do in these cases, they just add like the bevel option and stuff like that. But there are very many other things that you can do. You can change the blending mode to multiply as well. And when you add the bevel option, you see that it has those areas there. But once you just click here on the bevel option, it will just add the default options. So if you want to change how the bevel, if you want to customize the design to your own self, you have to click to highlight the bevel option. That's just something, I don't know why, for me it gave me a lot of hard time when I was starting out. I always used to sometimes come and be like, where is that place, how do I access it? So most of the time I'll just be clicking here and forgetting to highlight the areas that I want to work on. So clicking texture, it will add this same texture to my text layer as well. And I can also play around with the contour, for example, the gloss contour. And you see, when I shift through the options, you realize that it will be changing the way my text interacts. Okay, so it will be giving you many options. All right, and again here we have another option where it says angle, so you can change the angle of the lights and the shading of everything. So here you can turn on, when you turn on use global light, it will be affecting both textures, but I want it to only affect the texture below, so I'm turning off the global light. And once I move around again, you see how it's affecting my texture just like this. Okay, and I can turn on anti-alias or whatever that word is, and I can just keep shifting through. Right, now let me imagine I have this one. I now want to maybe make it pop out a little bit more than this. I can do a couple of things. I can add a color overlay. So the color overlay will kind of bring it out, but we need a color overlay that is kind of where we need it to be as well. So yeah, so maybe I can use color overlay like this. Going back to the bevel options, let me put it down so that it shows like it's on. Yeah, And let me also put a gradient overlay as well. I can add an inner shadow just to again tie it a little bit closer to the texture that I've just created. And basically these are the things like drop shadows. Again, they'll just reinforce the design onto the texture that I've created again. So and then once you have this, you can click OK, and there you have your textures that you've created your own texture. And of course you can create this texture and save it as a brush preset, or a pattern for yourself. You can create so many other textures as well. Just let me know if you're interested in knowing how to do that. There are tons and tons of ways I can show you, but today I just wanted to make a quick tutorial to make sure that everyone knows about layer styles, because in the next tutorials I'm going to be putting out next is paintings. Also, I'm going to be bringing in the painting. As you know, this channel I'm doing illustrations and design, and there is a Gary Vaynerchuk painting that I'm currently editing, and it's in the editing process, and I'm going to be releasing the explanatory, or you can call it the tutorial video, along with it in a few days. So it will be coming out in series, of course, but I'll be explaining to you how I paint realistically. So make sure you check out that as well. And until next time, go create, stay awesome, be amazing. Till next time, peace.